Welcome to Studio 5. Here's what's ahead on today's show.
Jester is the best one. It's the Mountain Dew Code Red of hats.
A little boy's willpower inspires his family.
Austin, we see him at like the highest of highs, but then we also see him at the lowest of lows.
Dr. Ian Smith is helping us to be happier and younger.
If your mind is not in the right place, your body cannot follow.
Total devotion, burn.
And we explore the film Boardwalk Winter through the eyes of the cast and crew.
But Mrs. Kellogg is very kooky, which is my specialty.
Those stories are coming up. First, let's jumpstart this week's Top 5 countdown. At number 5.
How many times?
The Newsboys get a new frontman.
Now new lead singer, Adam Agee.
For me to be able to front the band that I had their posters on our wall when I was a kid, so it's pretty cool.
Bass player Adam Agee takes center stage.
God's not dead, he's surely alive.
Following Michael Tate's unexpected resignation from the group. Breaking the news on Instagram, he wrote, "I've made for me what is a monumental and heartfelt decision that it's time to step down from the Newsboys."
He plays bass, he plays guitar, he writes, he sings like a little angel.
He does.
He would not be in this band if he was dead weight.
At number 4, holiday weekend and box office numbers.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Captain America: Brave New World leading the holiday weekend movie box office with $88.5 million, heading toward a $100 million total by the end of President's Day Monday, the year's biggest opening so far.
Paddington, there's a letter from Peru.
Paddington in Peru charmed its way to second place with $13 million.
Get ready to be inspired. The Unbreakable Boy will make you laugh, cry, and cheer. And here's the best part. It's a father's true story.
I wish I could enjoy anything as much as my son enjoys everything.
Woohoo! Look, Dad, it's a dragon!
Because to Austin, every day can be the best day. Every moment, the best moment.
Kevin, what drew you to this story?
What I was so encouraged by it was the end result. Our films at Kingdom Story Company, as you know, are all about delivering a rush of hope. Really showcasing the power of the gospel and delivering that rush of hope at the end. And this film does this so presently.
Your mistakes don't define you. How you heal does.
You've given up so much for this family, and you have never stopped fighting for us.
I can relate to so much of it. You know, I've gotten lost in darkness plenty of times in my life. I've gotten lost in not loving myself. And so I was able to apply so much of that to what, Scott's journey was in this film.
This is not what I thought it was going to be like.
Shoes on, Dad's late for work. Hey, whoa. Austin, what are you doing?
I feel like I'm failing every day, and the harder I try, the worse I do.
Peter, take me back to life on set. What stands out in the making of the film?
It was just magical, and I feel so proud to be a part of telling this man's journey and this man's story. It's such an inspirational story that's also has a lot of faith elements in it and resilience and so many takeaways of this movie.
Hey, Ozman, are you sure that's the right hat for your first day?
Don't be a goober, Daddy-o. Jester is the best one. It's the Mountain Dew Code Red of hats. And the best part is the chicks dig it.
Oh, dude.
Jacob, what was the challenge playing Austin?
Good question. I'd say the biggest challenge playing Austin was probably he has like a wide emotional range that we see from him in the film. Austin, we see him at like the highest of highs when he drinks that milkshake and he thinks it's the greatest milkshake ever. But then we also see him at the lowest of lows when he gets into like a fight with his brother and then he gets taken to the mental institution. And I've never really had any acting roles that challenged me that much where I had to portray both those. But I think I put my best effort into it and I'm proud with what I was able to do.
You should be. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Oh. This milkshake is perfection. This is the best day of my life!
Okay. For all of you, what did this story teach you?
You know, this story taught me to be a better dad, to be really present with my boys. So many things about this story that you could apply to your life that you need. Overcoming the insurmountable and realizing that Jesus is there for me no matter what my obstacles are, and that he wants a relationship with me no matter what. That is present in this movie. You see that in this movie.
I would say authenticity, being authentic to yourself is a great takeaway. Also, not being afraid to ask for help.
Autism presents itself in many different ways.
It's a class for kids with special needs. They think that it's time, that it's only going to get worse.
Zach, what does this film teach you about forgiveness?
Well, I mean, I think it teaches us a lot. I think it starts with self-forgiveness. I think that, you know, Scott doesn't even realize, and I can relate to a lot of this in my own life, you know, beating myself up for past mistakes, for not living up to who I think I was supposed to be, and recognizing that you need to let that stuff go. You know, there are things that are far bigger than us. God, you know, orchestrating things in our life for our good and his glory. And so I think that forgiveness is a massive part of that, because if we're carrying around this unforgiveness, we're never getting to the other side of that, and that other side is love. In fact, the love is what's supposed to kind of bring us through to get us to that forgiveness to begin with.
You just have to be able to see it.
The Unbreakable Boy is in theaters everywhere Friday. We've all heard it said, age ain't nothing but a number. The good doctor Ian Smith joins us to share how food can make that saying true.
As we age, our body becomes more resistant to growth because we're not having all these variables. So what can we do to somewhat either slow or counteract these natural changes that occur? And that's really the premise of Eat Your Age.
At number 3.
We titled this message Relationship Goals because we know that's something that is in popular culture.
Pastor Michael Todd's sermon turned best-selling book is soon to be a movie.
What was that? He just wanted to have a cute little moment with you, and you totally blew him off.
Actress and singer Kelly Rowland and Cliff Method Man Smith are set to lead the cast in the romantic comedy.
What God wants for every single one of us is for us to have relationships, but we have to have a goal that is aimed at something that is stable.
At number 2.
You know, this whole time has really been an engagement photo shoot.
No. You're being...
Baby.
Well wishes to pastor and producer Devon Franklin, who's sharing news, photos, and video of his proposal to celebrity trainer Maria Castillo.
My love, my baby, my soulmate.
Were you married?
Yes.
Welcome back to Studio 5. Age may just be a number if you use that number to decide what's best to eat and when. And that's just what the doctor ordered. Dr. Ian Smith, that is. We're talking about Eat Your Age. Before you get to eating your age, you spend some time talking about mindset. Why is it important that we deal with mindset before we even start talking about food?
Mindset really is the beginning of almost everything. If your mind is not in the right place, your body cannot follow. When you set things up mentally, then whatever comes, you're able to deal with much easier.
Now, you're talking about Eat Your Age, and we break things up and what you should be doing at certain decades of your life.
Yeah.
What's happening?
As we age, we have physical changes and physiological changes. Your soft tissues, your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, they want to contract. They become dehydrated. And what happens is you start losing range of motion. And if you are not in the position where you are constantly moving, doing your range of motion, I would say motion is lotion. When you become more sedentary and you stop using it, you lose it. And so as we age, our body becomes more resistant to growth because we're not having all these variables. So what can we do to somewhat either slow or counteract these natural changes that occur? And that's really the premise of Eat Your Age, is that a lot of changes and a lot of solutions start at the kitchen table.
What should I be doing in my 30s so that I'm not sitting here, we won't say how old I am now, but feeling like, what should I be doing in my 30s?
So in your 30s, it's about building a foundation. Calcium is important for strong bones, for teeth. Vitamin B9 is extremely important because it's important for your red blood cell formation so you don't have anemia. But it's also important for if you're a woman of childbearing age and you have a newborn, it prevents birth defects. But then you also want iron. Things like spinach are important for iron. Iron is the building block of a protein in the blood called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what attaches the oxygen and carries it throughout your body. So those are 3 of the power nutrients in your 30s you should be careful of. And then the book takes you through not just what the nutrients are, what they do, and where you can get them from. In your 40s, 40s is a time of change, hormonal changes and energy change. You want to make sure you have monounsaturated fats in your oils. You want to make sure that you have your antioxidants, but you also have to have calcium too, and vitamin D. So vitamin D is important because vitamin D helps your body to absorb calcium and phosphorus and retain it. So those are your 30s and 40s.
And someone watching in their 50s, 60s who did not do any of those things in 30s and 40s. I can think of many. I'm wondering, okay, so is it too late to now eat my age? What should we be doing?
It is never too late to make a change. Okay. I mean, change happens at all ages. I'm in my 50s. That is a great time for people to think about their heart health, including their bone health, but also their immune system.
In doing this book, we see some people celebrated who are doing extraordinary things. What did you learn or take away?
When you look at the blue zones, which are areas in the world where people live longer and they live healthier, that there are common traits of these people. They're eating more of a Mediterranean diet. They eat less processed foods. They eat less sugar. They are physically active, but they are also engaged in their community and their surroundings. And as we get older, becoming old is isolating. My mother's getting older, but I make her do things. I don't make it easy on her because she needs to have that engagement, that kind of stimulus. You can't always take care of them. Let them think through problems, let them figure things out, learn new things.
Dr. Ian Smith's new book, Eat Your Age, is available right now wherever books or audiobooks are sold. Well, here's this week's story in pictures. A major milestone for a pioneering television show. NBC's Saturday Night Live celebrated its 50th anniversary Sunday in a primetime special. The star-studded extravaganza is now NBC's most-watched primetime entertainment telecast in 5 years, with nearly 15 million viewers watching the 3.5-hour show. It was filled with comedy sketches, superstar musical performances, and unexpected cameos. And that's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. A new film with a blend of faith and comedy. It's called Boardwalk Winter.
Everybody will face challenges. Everybody will react to them in different ways. None of us are perfect. But through love and through our commitment to others and our love to others, we can make life a really beautiful thing.
Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
And welcome back to Studio 5. Here's a look at the #1 story making headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment this week. At #1.
Set and action. What?
Big news for The Chosen. Amazon's Prime Video will become the exclusive U.S. streaming home for the series about the life of Jesus. So I know that when we're looking at season 5, we'll be looking at Holy Week. Now, how would you describe the arc, what plays out in this season?
Steamroller, bulldozer, intensity, just a melee of emotions and conflicts.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
Thank you for that, and I hope that you're back for 2 more seasons, but that is a wrap on season 5.
Boardwalk Winter is the tale of a woman who's given a death sentence and decides to live anyway.
Tell me about your...
Life's too short for small talk.
Then let's get uncomfortable.
So how did you come to this film?
Oh my. I read the synopsis of the story and I really liked it and I said, why not? I'll go for it. I gotta get out there. Rest and relaxation is a good thing. It's why I moved here. Fern is a woman facing extraordinary circumstances because she is faced with this terminal illness that she's diagnosed with in the film. But she is determined to face that with relentless optimism. The film shows her journey, continuing to keep that optimism while also learning more about herself and what her wants and needs are. And her want and need really is love in the film.
What are you? Some sort of addict?
What are you? You a stalker?
Now, you play Cole and you're a surfer. Tell me who this guy is.
Cole is very much a guy who likes to live life on the edge. He loves the fresh air, fresh surf. He loves to be in touch with the world and always involved.
What is it about this story that made you want to do it?
It looked at a lot of the darker sides of life, morbidity particularly, and says that there can be a lot of joy no matter what you're going through.
Your car smells weird.
Yeah. It does.
We have a comedic legend in the film as well. What was it like to work with her?
There are a few words, honestly. Every day, Victoria is such a light, and just being able to both work with her but also spend time with her off set was such a gift.
Do you have butterflies?
Swaths of them.
So, Victoria, you could be doing so many things. What made you say yes to this film in Virginia?
I heard once that you get a lot of roles when you're young and when you're old, but then there's a middle time when no one knows what to do with you. So I think I'm in the old period now. At my age, I'm lucky to have dying moths. He sent me the script, never heard of him. And it's his first feature film that he wrote. And it was about death and dreams and love. And I loved my part. It's a small part. But Mrs. Kellogg is very kooky.
What do you think I should look for, you know, in a man?
Total devotion, Fern.
And we have someone facing death, if you will, but there's still comedy and laughter in this. How did you walk that line?
That's a tough line to walk. It is. I had a great professor at Regent University locally. I went to film school there that taught a class on comedy. And some of the discussion that we had was around finding comedy through pain. It helps us to see the bright spots, even in dark areas. We all have challenges at various levels. And I think that watching Fern overcome some of the adversity that she does, I hope that it will really give more hope to people going through struggles.
I'm already in there telling everyone that I am dying.
Are you serious?
If you did have a wish or hope for what the audience takes away, what is it?
I think it goes back to that message of everybody deserves love. Everybody will face challenges. Everybody will react to them in different ways. Fern isn't perfect. None of us are perfect. But through love and through our commitment to others and our love to others, we can make life a really beautiful thing.
But if I go out there and I stumble and no one's there to pick me up.
Nope, you can do that.
Should I go for a run?
For more on Boardwalk Winter, visit WonderMadeProductions.com.
Hundreds of Israelis slain, thousands of rockets fired into the Jewish nation, men, women, and children taken hostage. Israel needs your help now. Your gift to CBN Israel will send immediate aid to families and victims directly impacted by the attacks. Stand with Israel. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com or text CBN Israel to 71777.
Welcome back to Studio 5. Music helps us to bring you this show each and every week, and this week's soundtrack comes from Welcome. Take a listen and you'll hear why The King Will Come is what's playing in my ear.
And even in the midst of all my wrong, this wayward sons, but at the door by his father with open arms, singing, welcome to the kingdom. Come on in, you are welcome to the kingdom. Welcome to the world. You don't need a reason. You can come on in, you are welcome to the kingdom.
On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5, so let's peek ahead to next week's rundown.
Can one stone change the course of history?
Cowards! Send me your champion!
Goliath! We hit the road and travel to Greece to the set of House of David.
Why do my brothers get to fight? And I'm stuck here.
The series follows David's rise from shepherd boy to the celebrated king of Israel. We're taking you behind the scenes of the popular story and talk with some of the cast.
Are you afraid?
Terrified.
Join us for that and so much more next week. As for this week, we've got time for just one more thing. We're going to give the final word to Zachary Levi. Zach, do you see yourself in Scott?
I see all of us in everyone. You know, like not that we don't all have our individual journeys and paths, and we, you know, obviously we all have our differences, clearly, and I think that's part of the beauty of life, that God creates us all to be unique and individual. But there's also so much common ground between us all that if we were to just stop and look at it, we'd recognize that we're far more similar than we are different. And from Scott's perspective, I think that, listen, physically we're very different people. I mean, I don't wear glasses. I have a full head of hair, and I'm probably, I don't know, 2 feet taller than Scott in real life. But that guy has such a beautiful spirit and heart, and he loves his children, and he loves his wife, and he, you know, and has the courage to write this story, his true story, and be so vulnerable in sharing his struggles. And I commend him for that. And I like to consider myself to be somebody like that as well, that, you know, recognizes that that we are loved, that God loves us. That's where that love starts from, and that from that we're able to love ourselves and we're able to love others. And I think that's really the crux of what this story is. And so I see a lot of myself in Scott and vice versa in that.
That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.